This special broadcast of the JCN Person of the Year Silver Jubilee Award Ceremony is brought to you by the following sponsors: the Ministry of Tourism, Warwick Paradise Island, the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, the Grand Bahama Promotion Board, McKinney Bancroft and Hughes, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Fidelity, Nassau Flight Services, the Sunshine Group of Companies, the Airport Authority, Superwash, the Patmore Group, Bahamas Air, Bahamar, Cash and Go, BAF General and Health Insurance, Caribbean Bottling Company, Basin Elevator Company, Premix Bahamas, the Abaco Arrogate Company, and McKinney Turner and Company.
From the corridors of government to the runways of progress, from the family islands to the global stage, his leadership has been a beacon of excellence and possibility. Lord, continue to crown him with favor. Let his counsel be guided by your truth, his steps ordered by your purpose, and his heart anchored in compassion. May his work in tourism bring not only prosperity, but dignity. May his stewardship of investments yield opportunity for generations. And may the skies he governs in aviation be filled with promise and peace. Bless his family, his team, and all who labor alongside him. And bless this nation, that we may continue to raise up leaders who serve not for applause, but for impact, not for power, but for purpose. We offer this prayer in the name of the one who calls us to lead with love, to serve with humility, and to walk in righteousness. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Before, of course, our CEO comes to bring welcome and remarks, let me also recognize the presence of our honoree this evening, along with the Prime Minister and the Governor General, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper and Mrs. Cooper, the Cabinet, Bishop Woodley Thompson, of course, Bishop Neil Ellis, Apostle Raymond Wells, other distinguished and invited guests. Once again, good evening. Also, good evening to those who join us by radio and television. The next voice now that you will hear, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than our CEO, Ms. Kimberly Jones.
Governor General, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, to our honoree, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper and Mrs. Cooper, members of the Cabinet, senators, members of Parliament, His Excellency, Mr. Wendell Jones, the Bahamas Ambassador to the United States, and other members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the clergy, executive management of the Ministry of Tourism, family members, friends of our honorees, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We welcome you to the Jones Communications Media Center and the Silver Jubilee of the JCN Person of the Year Awards. We are very pleased that so many of you have joined us here this evening. Before I go on, I must recognize the presence of our former Persons of the Year, which include Bishop Neil Ellis, Mr. John Wilson, Dr. Conville Brown, and Mr. Craig Flowers. 25 years ago, as a part of our civic journalistic efforts, the management of Jones Communications Network, led by our founder, Mr. Wendell Jones, made a decision to honor individuals in civil society in the Bahamas who have used head, heart, and hand for the upliftment of fellow Bahamians and to enhance our national development goals. Our focus has always been to identify and highlight excellence. Influencing and highlighting a national culture of excellence is more suited to the media than any other estate in the realm. While it may be otherwise proclaimed, it may be difficult for other dimensions of society to separate a hidden or personal agenda from a national one. We believe that media should enjoy the unqualified authority beyond all others in national life to influence the culture of excellence. Remove the media, and you would opaquely cover the focus of a progressive and progressing people. Remove the media, and you annihilate the watchdog of conduct of national affairs. It is for these reasons that Jones Communications is strongly committed to carrying on these awards. As a media organization, we wish to arrest mediocrity in our national life and inspire Bahamians to reach their full potential in pursuit of excellence. We believe that we are fulfilling our role when we seek to forge a national discipline of excellence. It is a discipline because we must become disciples of excellence. We believe that excellence is a lifestyle and an ingredient which demands the national interest as a priority. In celebrating excellence, Bahamians must in celebrating excellence, the Bahamians we honor represent some of the nation's finest. This evening, we pay tribute to a man who, by his work and deportment, exudes and emits true excellence. Those who know him will attest to the fact that whenever I, Chester Cooper, commits his head, heart, or hands to anything, that thing will be executed with excellence. It is therefore no coincidence that Mr. Cooper is being named our Person of the Year for the second time since we began these awards in the year 2000. As media professionals, we take our role very seriously. We are always watching and listening attentively. Therefore, the vision, leadership, commitment, hard work, and dedication of the Deputy Prime Minister has been meticulously recorded. It gives us tremendous pride when we can report on the Honorable Minister's accomplishments and achievements in tourism, and also highlight the tremendous work of the Davis administration. This past year, the Ministry of Tourism reported a new record in visitor arrivals to the Bahamas. 12.5 million visitors were able to experience the warmth and hospitality of the Bahamian people. Yes, we are cheering you on, and we wish you continued success. By the same token, though, as media professionals, we are duty-bound to also speak of any missteps and do our best to encourage that any wrongdoings be corrected. Biblical stories tell us about excellence. They highlight characters who have demonstrated superior character, skill, and faithfulness in their work and service to God, often in challenging circumstances. Key examples include Daniel's excellent spirit in leadership, Joseph's diligent service as a slave, and Ruth's reputation for virtuous work. Notably, Nehemiah's display in leadership and project management by rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem in 52 days, despite threats and opposition. These stories teach that excellence is a habit of integrity, not just talent, and serves to glorify God. Like the biblical Nehemiah, Mr. Cooper has no doubt displayed excellence in leadership and project management. We believe that our civil society will improve for the better when future generations of Bahamians can emulate persons like our honoree. When we commit to excellence by doing our best, regardless of whether anyone is watching, when we improve our work ethic by doing ordinary tasks with extraordinary effort, and when we use our God-given talents and work together as a people, we will then be united for the common good and continued development of this nation. Mr. Cooper, we congratulate you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your attendance here, and we trust that you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will also now have a musical selection by Summer Sounds High School Pop Band, but before they do, I just want to recognize as well the presence of our immediate past recipient of this award, the Commissioner of Police, Ms. Shanta Knowles, who I believe has briefly stepped out of the room but is here with us this evening. So we'll now hear from Summer Sounds High School Pop Band.
One, two. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we just stand to our feet so we can dance and celebrate this awesome man? I'm a hard-working man, 7 days a week. I give my family everything to keep them off of the street. Monday to Sunday, I put food on the table. I give my turn and lunch money and work to learn the timetable. I work hard for my bread and butter, man night for my bread and butter, man night for my bread and butter. I'll fight till the day for my bread and butter. I don't care what nobody say, my hard working man them. Here we go. Oi, oi. Oi, oi. Now it's the end of the month, time to pay my bill. The phone, the line, the water, the rent, I can chill. If you miss some of them this month, you just make a call. You need to work overtime to pay them bills after all. I work for my bread and butter, man night for my bread and butter, man night for my bread and butter. I'll fight till the day for my bread and butter. I don't care what nobody say, my hard working man every day. I work for my bread and butter, man night for my bread and butter, for my bread and butter. I'll fight till the day for my bread and butter. I don't care what nobody say, my hard working man every day. Here we go. Oi, oi. Oi, oi.
If you see me on the dance floor, man, I carry no bud.
They don't mind, they don't mind.
Suddenly moving, raking, scraping, man, to this beat.
To this beat, to this beat.
Sliding, slipping, dipping, dancing all across the floor.
Cross the floor, cross the floor.
Whining, bumping, jerking, Lord, I hold in my head.
Hold my head, hold my head.
You can't blame me. It's the scrape I'm scraping. Music so sweet and knock you off your feet. Hey.
Blame it on the record scrape, 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 blame it on the record scrape.
Hey, 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 hey. sugar my cherry. 1, 2, 3, 4, man can't take no more.
Take no more. Take no more.
This the way we better be all night long.
All night long.
Brown gal in the ring and look like a sugar in a plug.
Sugar plug.
Hey, you can't blame me. It's the scrape you see. Music so sweet, it knock you off your feet.
Blame it on the record scratch. 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 Blame it on the record scratch.
Hey, 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 hey.
Blame it on the record scratch. 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 One, two, let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you to the Summer Sounds High School Pop Band for a very impressive performance. We will now call to the podium to bring remarks the Honorable Philip Davis, KC, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Good afternoon, and please be seated. Your Excellency, Mother Pratt and cabinet colleagues, parliamentary colleagues, and to government officials, and to CEO and Ambassador, His Excellency, the Honorable Wendell Jones, to former awardees of this award, and of course to our honoree tonight, I, Chester Cooper, and Mrs. Cooper. Good afternoon once again to all. Just let me start with something simple. A country is held together by stories. Stories tell us who we are when nobody's watching. They tell us what we admire, what we forgive, what we expect, and what we refuse to accept. They tell us what kind of people our islands produce. And every so often, a person's story feels like it belongs to all of us because it carries something familiar. A family island start, a big dream, a hard climb, a few laughs along the way, a few bruises too, then in time, a life that turns into service. That is why we're here tonight, because the story of Chester Cooper is a Bahamian story. It is a story that starts in Forbes Hill, Exuma. And if you know anything about Family Island people, you know what that means. You grow up learning discipline early. You learn respect. You learn how to show up. You learn that you cannot talk your way out of everything. Eventually, you must deliver. Chester carries that with him everywhere he goes. I want to congratulate Jones Communications Network for naming the Honorable I, Chester Cooper, as a Person of the Year for 2025. You're recognizing the public record, yes, but you're also recognizing a man's character. And I want to speak to his character. People see the Deputy Prime Minister. They see the minister. They see the meetings and the ceremonies and the announcements. What they do not always see is the heart behind the work. They do not see the phone calls he makes when he hears somebody is struggling. They do not see how he carries the weight of decisions that affect people's livelihoods. They do not see how often he pushes, how often he worries, how often he asks, are we doing right by the people? Chester is intense. He's driven. He is demanding. Sometimes that can be misunderstood. But I have served alongside him, close enough to know the truth. His intensity comes from love. He loves this country. He loves Exuma. He loves Bahamians. And he takes it personally when people are left behind. That is why he works the way he works. Now, there's a part of Chester's story that always stays with me because it says so much about him. Before he stood at a podium with a title, he was a young man trying to find his voice. He's trying to find his voice. So he joined Toastmasters, Club 1600. I think he was only 17, but the rule was you had to be 18 to join. And he told them that he was 18. As you are now doing, some people will laugh at that, and yes, we can smile. But I want you to look a little deeper. That wasn't about dishonesty in the ordinary sense. That was hunger. That was a young man deciding, I'm not waiting for permission to grow. He's looking for a place where he could be tested, where he could be corrected, where he could be sharpened, because he understood something very early. Confidence without preparation is noise, but confidence built on work becomes leadership. Then came the moment that I think many people in this room will remember, because it sounds like the kind of thing we say when we are young and fearless and full of hope. In his first speech, they call it the icebreaker in Toastmasters, Chester introduced himself and said he wanted to be the best lawyer, best politician that ever graced planet Earth, not the Bahamas, and that he wanted to be prime minister. And just as you did, people laughed. And in that room, there was a lawyer who had entered politics named Philip Brave Davis. I was a Toastmaster too. And someone heckled him at the time and said, after Chester spoke, and said to me, heckling me, boy, Brave, he's coming after you. He's coming for you. That is a Bahamian moment, if I ever heard one. We laughed. We test people. That's Toastmasters 1600. We throw little stones to see if you will flinch. What matters is what you do after the laughter. Chester did not flinch. He did not shrink. He did not trade a dream for something easier. He kept learning, he kept speaking, he kept building, he kept working. And time as a way of clearing the room of laughter and replacing it with respect. Tonight, Chester is part of that respect. But I want to make this even more personal. Chester and I have traveled together. We have sat in meetings where the stakes were high. We have dealt with pressure. We have dealt with criticisms. We have dealt with moments when things could have gone either way. And I've watched him close, and I've seen him choose the harder road when it was the right road to go. I watched him push through fatigue because he knew people were waiting on answers. I watched him take on problems that have been left on the shelf for far too long. And I've watched him carry his ministry like he understands that behind every statistic is a household where a mother is hoping her son finds a job, where a father is trying to hold things together, a young person praying for a chance, a small business owner counting their days until the next booking. That is what tourism is. It is people's rent, people's groceries, people's school fees, people's dignity. And Chester understands this in his bones. So when JCN speaks about his vision, his leadership, his dedication, and his creativity in expanding our tourism product, improving airlift, and strengthening airports across our islands, that is not abstract. That is real life. And when you think about what he has represented for the Bahamas internationally, including his election as Vice President of the United Nations World Tourism Organization General Assembly, representing the Americas region, it is a sign that the Bahamas can lead the world, not as spectators, but as contributors. But even with these achievements, I want you to know what I admire most about Chester. It is not the titles. It is not the suits, and of course the suits aren't nice. It is the way he still speaks like a family island man who knows where he comes from. He does not forget people. He does not forget communities. He does not forget who gave him a chance. He does not forget the feeling of being the young man in the room, trying to prove that he belongs. And that is why young people connect to him. They can feel that he has not drifted away from them. They can feel that he still understands the climb. Chester, tonight, I want to say this. You have earned this honor. You have earned it by work, yes, but you've earned it by heart. So on behalf of the government of the Bahamas, and on behalf of a grateful people who rely on strong leadership in a sector that carries so many families, I congratulate you. Keep going, keep pushing, keep demanding that we raise the standard. Keep lifting Exuma, keep lifting the Bahamas. And to the young people listening, take this path with you. A dream can start in a small room. It can sound too big. It can even make people laugh. But if you keep working, if you keep learning, if you keep showing up, one day, the same people look at you and say, you earned it. Congratulations. Congratulations once again, Deputy Prime Minister. And thank you, JCN, for reminding the country that service, excellence, and character still deserve to be called out and celebrated. God bless all of you, and God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at the point in our program where we present the award to our honoree for this evening. I want to ask the Governor General if you would please join us, Dame Cynthia Pratt at the podium, as well as Jones Communications CEO, Ms. Kimberly Jones, right here beside the Prime Minister. I ask that our honoree please do join us as well at the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, please do enjoy a musical selection of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing, nothing without a woman or a girl. Hey, you see, man made the car to take us over the road. Man made the train to carry a heavy load. Man made the electric light to take us out of the dark. Man made both the water like Noah made the ark. This is a man's world. Wouldn't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. Man thinks about the little baby girl, a baby boy. Man makes him happy, 'cause man makes him toys. And after man has done everything that he can, did you know that man makes money to buy from other men? This is a man's world. Wouldn't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. Oh, he's lost in the wilderness. He's lost in bitterness. He's lost in bitterness. He's lost in the wilderness. This is a man's world. Wouldn't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. Yeah, this is a man. This is a man world.
Thank you to the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band for that musical selection. I would now like to call to the podium for a brief biography and introduction of the 2025 Person of the Year, Mrs. Latia Duncombe, Director General of Tourism.
Very interesting song, if I may say so. Standing on the established protocol, I respectfully acknowledge Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt, Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and our Commander-in-Chief, the Right Honorable Philip Brave Davis, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and our honoree, my boss, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation. This evening, it is certainly an honor to briefly reflect on the leadership and service being recognized. In tourism, we speak about creating unforgettable experiences for our visitors. But tonight, I have the privilege of introducing a leader whose vision has not only transformed tourism, investments, and aviation, but certainly it has transformed lives, revitalized communities, and rewritten what we believed possible for our nation. In his role as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper has guided the nation's most vital economic engines through a period of recovery, expansion, repositioning, and delivering results that strengthened confidence across the U.S. and beyond. Under his leadership, we have achieved an historic milestone, welcoming 12.5 million visitors to our destination. These achievements are far more than statistics. They represent livelihoods strengthened, communities revitalized, and opportunities renewed across every island in the Bahamas. At the same time, the country has attracted more than $13 billion in investments, largely in tourism, including landmark developments such as Montage Key, the continued expansion at Bahamar, ultra-luxury brands in Exuma and Nassau, and major infrastructure projects spanning cruise ports, shipyards, and a nationwide airport redevelopment program. Beyond his national performance, DPM Cooper has distinguished himself as a trusted and international thought leader. He currently serves on the Council of Ministers of the Caribbean Tourism Organization and previously served as vice chairman, contributing to regional policy, direction, and collaboration among Caribbean destinations. Internationally, his leadership has elevated to the standing and his position of the last election of the UN Tourism General Assembly, and I'm proud to say he holds the position of Vice President. This reflects the growing respect for the Bahamas' voice in shaping global tourism dialogue and policy. Educated across multiple countries, a successful businessman, a published author, he brings global perspective and private sector discipline. But beyond his professional, those who know him speak of a devoted husband to Cecilia, a proud father of three, a man of deep faith and deeper integrity. He brings this same devotion to our tourism, investments, and aviation family, caring for our industries with the same commitment he brings to his own family. This recognition by Jones Communications Network honors leadership exercised with purpose, consistency, and national responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 2025 Jones Communication Person of the Year, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, as he delivers his response.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Your Excellency, the Governor General, Cynthia Pratt, Prime Minister, my family, Mrs. Cooper, Mr. Wendell Jones, His Excellency, Cabinet colleagues, parliamentary colleagues, senators, friends, business colleagues, Bishop Woodley Thompson, Bishop Neil Ellis, Apostle Raymond Wells, Bishop Trent Davis, and other distinguished friends of the clergy, and to all of you who took the time to be here at the JCN Media Center. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. May I firstly thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his kind remarks. I am humbled to be on the receiving end of such remarks from a strong, compassionate, visionary leader. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your mentorship. And to the entire JCN team, thank you for your leadership in this space, your consistency, and for recognizing Bahamians at every opportunity. Congratulations, you are at your silver jubilee. And it is a tremendous honor for me to be recognized once again. Thank you. To my fellow honorees who would have received this award over the past many years, I am humbled, grateful, and very aware that I am in the great company of previous recipients who have stood here to say thank you to a Bahamas that's been so great to them. When you stand at a podium like this, you realize quickly that no recognition ever belongs to one person. It belongs to the people who prayed for you, who pushed you, who corrected you, who opened doors for you, and sometimes simply refused to let you quit. It belongs to the people who saw something in you before you fully saw it in yourself. And therefore, I want to start with my family, my siblings, because they are my first strong team and my strongest foundation, and my parents from Forbes Hill, Little Exuma. That great foundation that I stand on today. And to my wife, Cecilia, and my children, Chelsea, Isaac, and Chloe, you have been the quiet strength behind the public work. You keep me grounded, you keep me focused, and you keep our home filled with love and calm. When the days are long, and when the responsibilities feel heavy, you remind me what truly matters. To my bubble of close friends, I thank you for your love, your support, and for your brutal honesty. And I am forever grateful for where I come from, Forbes Hill, Little Exuma. Exuma raised me, Exuma shaped me, Exuma gave me the values that I carry into every room I enter. And I would not be standing here without the people who lifted me up from those early days, the relatives, the neighbors, the teachers, the pastors, and the community leaders who poured into me. And I would not be standing here without the people of Exuma putting their faith in me to represent them in Parliament. So to everyone in Exuma, I say thank you. And Ragged Island, I love you too. And because public service is never a solo act, I want to pause and acknowledge the people who mark and who make the work possible. To the executives of the Ministry of Tourism and the 14 agencies under my remit that form the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, thank you all. To our senior leadership, to the heads of departments, all of the professionals and the tourism teams around the world, the aviation team, the investments team, the communications staff, the protocol officers, the administrative team, and the countless public officers who keep the machinery running, but who stay behind the scenes. You make my job look easy. And I want the country to know that whatever recognition comes to me tonight, it is built on the shoulders of a hard-working team committed to delivering for the Bahamas. And I want to acknowledge my supporters, my friends, and the many colleagues I have had the privilege of working with over the years. The journey has never been smooth every step of the way. There have been curveballs and obstacles, but it's always been meaningful because of the people who walked it with me. So I thank you, my leader, Prime Minister Davis, and my parliamentary colleagues in cabinet for your support and your belief in the strength of a team. Tonight has me thinking, though, about the Bahamas itself and the promise that has always lived inside this country. I remember being young, well, younger, watching my mother, watching my older brothers and sisters, and something just clicked for me. I could see it in the way they worked. I could see it in the way they carried themselves. I could see it in the way they believed, even when circumstances were not ideal, that tomorrow could be better than today. And that is where I learned the early lesson that hard work is what gets you there. Wisdom, integrity is what keep you there. But I also learned something else, something just as important. I was inspired by Bahamas that created pathways even when there were barriers. A Bahamas where neighbors were willing to help and invest and pay it forward. A Bahamas where scholarship changed lives. A Bahamas where a community could come together to raise a child, support a family, rescue someone who had fallen, and celebrate someone who was trying. I saw the support of the church, Bishop Woodley. I saw the encouragement of mentors. I saw the kind of social fabric that tells you, you may not have much, but you are not alone. And I saw a country that after majority rule moved with purpose, with urgency, with breakneck speed, determined to uplift people who had been left out for too long. And that is the Bahamas I grew up believing in. And so this award means a lot to me, not only because it recognized me personally, but because of what it can symbolize for our young people. It is easy, especially now, for young Bahamians to look at the world and feel that their dreams are too big, that their aspirations are silly, that the heights they imagine are reserved for somebody else. But I want them to know that that is not true. I want every young person listening to understand that you can reach the heights you dreamed of. Your vision is valid. Your hope is not foolish. Your ambition is not a joke. You may barely have 2 nickels to rub together, but you can still catch a fire and light the way. You can still become someone who changes a household, changes a community, changes an industry, changes the trajectory of your own life and the lives of others. And therefore, if my story says anything, it should say that you cannot let your starting point talk you out of your destination. And as I reflect on whatever measures of success I may have achieved in business or politics, financially or nationally, I always want to say that I believe deeply in the promise of our country. And there's also a deeply held belief that the richness of life is not measured only in what you can count. It is an opportunity to serve. It is in the love of family. It is friends who bring real meaning to your life, not just noise. It is the capacity to help someone and to know that you made a difference. And so for me, it is my faith. I serve a God I have placed my trust in, and He has kept me safe. Even when the road was uncertain, even when the journey was rocky, even when I had to lean on faith more than sight. So tonight, I pause especially to acknowledge the shoulders I stand on and the people who've reposed a great deal of faith in my leadership ability, and the Progressive Liberal Party, including the many senior statesmen and women in our party. I've learned from many people across our socio-economic and political spectrum. I've benefited from support, from counsel, from correction, from shared experiences, and from the privilege of getting to know the full tapestry of the Bahamas through the people who make public life what it is. And I am grateful for the lessons, grateful for the relationships, and grateful for every sincere effort to move our country forward. So to JCN again, I say thank you for this award and for what this evening represents. Your platform has long amplified Bahamian excellence, and that matters. And finally, let me end on a very personal note. I am only in my 50s, mind you. But when you write a book about your life, life becomes surreal. When you receive an award as prestigious as this one, some might think that this means that you've peaked. But I don't see it that way. I see it as a reminder to keep going, to keep serving, to keep learning, to keep building, keep progressing, and to keep showing young Bahamians what is possible. So if God grants me strength, I am hopefully only getting started. So, Kim Jones, Excellency, Brother Jones, you called me in 2011, and I answered. You called me again 2025, and I am humbled to answer your call. One day you will have a golden jubilee. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for your love. Thank you for believing in me. And may God bless you. May God bless the people of Exuma and Ragged Island. And may God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you all very much.
Thank you to our honoree for those remarks, and once again, congratulations to him. We have here next, ladies and gentlemen, a video presentation, as well as following the video presentation, a selection by the Royal Bahamas Police Pop Band.
Since assuming office, the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, led by Deputy Prime Minister I. Chester Cooper, has delivered unprecedented results for the Bahamas. Tourism performance has reached historic highs, culminating in a record-breaking 12.5 million visitor arrivals, the strongest showing in the nation's history.
Arrivals now stand well above pre-pandemic levels, reflecting sustained and broad-based growth across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands, and reaffirming the Bahamas' position as a global tourism leader.
Under his leadership, the ministry coordinated missions to over 25 cities, reconnecting the Bahamas with key global markets. The $300 million Nassau Cruise Port redevelopment completed in May 2023 increased capacity and improved the visitor experience. The $700 million Carnival Celebration Key, launched in July 2025, strengthened the nation's cruise tourism. And the $600 million Grand Bahama Shipyard expansion now accommodates the world's largest vessels.
Through strategic direction from Deputy Prime Minister Cooper, the ministry advanced over $13 billion in tourism and economic investments, strengthening communities across the islands.
Cultural programs were revitalized and expanded under his leadership, bringing Goombay and Junkanoo Summer to 12 islands and creating opportunities for our local communities.
I'm really proud to see these traditions thrive. The real credit goes to the artists and communities who bring them to life.
Programs such as Innovate 242, the Tourism Development Fund, and the new Innovation and Incubation Centers empowered Bahamians and strengthened tourism capacity. Icon signs across 4 islands enhanced the visitor experience.
Empowering our people is something I feel strongly about. It is the purpose behind every initiative. Their dedication ensures that these projects succeed.
The Bahamas' growing prominence in global tourism was recognized in 2024. Caribbean Journal named it Best Destination in the Caribbean, reflecting the ministry's strategic initiatives and expanded international outreach. Deputy Prime Minister Cooper's guidance of these initiatives also earned him election as Vice President of the United Nations World Tourism Organization General Assembly, positioning the Bahamas as a leader in shaping tourism policy worldwide.
I am honored that the Bahamas and the ministry's work are recognized on the global stage. These achievements reflect commitment of our teams and the collaboration of partners around the world.
Expanding tourism beyond beaches, the ministry pursued strategic partnerships in sports, showcasing the Bahamas to new international audiences. Collaborations with the New York Yankees, Miami Hurricanes, and the Dallas Cowboys amplified the country's profile and attracted new visitors.
Sports tourism is an example of thinking creatively about our destination. Working with these partners gives Bahamians opportunities and brings the world's attention to our islands.
These achievements demonstrate a leadership that strengthens communities and elevates the Bahamas globally.
This recognition belongs to all who deliver every day. Team tourism around the world, industry partners, and our communities. I am grateful to Jones Communications Network, the people of Exumas and Ragged Island, and the entire Bahamas for the trust they place in me.
I see trees green, red roses too. I see them bloom just for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days and dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are on the faces of people passing by. I see friends holding hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, and I think to myself, what a
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just about come to the end of our program today, our Silver Jubilee celebrations of the JCN Person of the Year Award, and I've been asked to deliver the vote of thanks. I saw Sir Franklin do this a few years ago when he was awarded, where he wrote some notes down, and when he came up to give his response, he sort of spoke about him and sort of established certain principles and facts, themes of the evening, if you may. And I think what has been abundantly clear from what we have heard this evening in terms of our honoree, through his diligent discharge of duty, effective execution of narrowly tailored policy, the Bahamas has consistently continued to punch above its weight in the world of tourism. The Bahamas remains a premier tourist destination known for that convivial hospitality, a down-home Bahamian tradition. While doing so and leading these efforts, he has held firm in the ideals of his humility and service to others. I would also like to, before we leave, in addition to congratulating personally our awardee, our honoree this evening, thank as well the staff of the Ministry of Tourism, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band, and the Summer Sounds High School Pop Band, who has delivered the musical accompaniment this evening. On behalf of the management and staff of Jones Communications, we also thank you for graciously braving the impending cold to be here with us this evening, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Cooper for joining us, and also to reinforce something that our CEO said, as she spoke of a commitment as well to the high ideals of journalism and what we recommit ourselves to every day. And I believe we should end in a pledge from heart to fellow hearts, supporting the way that we are all going forward, upward, onward together. Before I do as well end our ceremony today, we would like to remind you that there's a reception prepared at the end of our room, at the back of the room, for all of you. And also thank the Governor General for being with us this evening and ask that you all stand as she does. Thank you. Good evening.
This special broadcast of the JCN Person of the Year Silver Jubilee Awards Ceremony has been brought to you by the following sponsors: the Ministry of Tourism, Warwick Paradise Island, the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, the Grand Bahama Promotion Board, McKinney Bancroft and Hughes, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Fidelity, Nassau Flight Services, the Sunshine Group of Companies, the Airport Authority, Superwash, the Patmore Group, Bahamas Air, Bahama, Cash and Go, BAF General and Health Insurance, Caribbean Bottling Company, Basin Elevator Company, Premix Bahamas, Abaco Arrogate Company, and McKinney Turner and Company.